Well, luckily, Keith Smith covers the NBA.
Right.
He's in Vegas for the Summer League, and I don't know, maybe he bumped into somebody who has some information on Carmelo and some other stuff. There's a lot of good Summer League storylines. Free agency, is it over? What's next? Who needs to go? Who's going where? What about Russ? Who's the favorites? We got all the odds. Let's bring Keith Smith in from Yahoo Sports, Real GM, and he joins us here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline, live from, I think, Vegas. You still in Vegas there, Keith?
I am until tomorrow at 5:30 in the morning. Then I am out of here, headed home to the East Coast.
Man, that's a long time to be in Vegas for. A lot of people can't handle that.
Yeah. I'm one of them. I cannot wait to get on that plane and get headed home.
Well, you've probably seen a lot of hoops out there. Let's start with the Summer League, and what do you take from Summer League? A lot of people just look at Summer League and kind of laugh at it and say, hey, these are guys who aren't going to be getting jobs. But what do you take from the Summer League, and what can you learn from it?
Yeah, I always like to say Summer League doesn't tell you who can play, but it sure can let you know who can't play. If someone looks completely in over their head here, really having a hard time with getting anything done, you probably start to get a sense that they might not make it in the NBA. Now, that's not true for everybody because everybody's coming from a different spot, but you can't overreact. Everyone does it. You don't want to go too crazy. The thing I always look for is guys who are headed into their second or third year. They should be some of the best players here and should look pretty good. And if they don't look real good, as was the case with Gershon Yabusele from the Celtics, it might be time to cut bait and move on from them.
Yeah, he was a guy that did get cut. They did cut bait from him, did they not?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they waived him yesterday.
And you said you can find out guys who can't play, but there are times where you see a guy and you're like, you know what, this guy, like a couple of years ago, for instance, when Ben Simmons played in Summer League, you watched Ben Simmons play in Summer League and you were like, this guy's something different. Just the way he passed, the way he saw the floor, you could really tell.
Men among boys.
Yeah, you could really tell that he was advanced. Are there any guys out there that are on, I don't want to say Ben Simmons level of that, but that just seem like they don't belong because they're that good?
Yeah, we only saw half of him, and he was the number one pick for a reason, but Zion Williamson was exactly that guy. He came out and he just, Kevin Knox, who was a high draft pick last year by the Knicks, he treated him the way I treat my daughter in the driveway. Just kind of tossed him around, got the ball, dunked on him, and stared at him. And then he banged knees with folks. Now, we were all told that exact same night that he could play, he's fine, but there's no reason, and he's going to go do USA basketball stuff here in the next week anyway. So, he's looked really good. RJ Barrett has looked better in the last couple of outings than he did in his first time around, and then, second-year guy or third-year guy Jarrett Allen for the Nets has looked pretty good. Rodion Kurucs of the Nets has looked good as well. And then for the Sixers, Zaire Smith has had a really productive week. Out here, looks like he could be a rotation guy. And Matisse Thybulle, you can see all the things he needs to work on, but you get the sense of just how long he is, how good he is defensively already, and the fact that he's been very confident taking jump shots, especially the corner three, which is going to be a big shot for him. So, those guys have all been guys who've really stood out, so far out here.
Yeah, Keith, I think the big thing for us here observing the Sixers is that Thybulle came in with so many questions about his offensive game, how refined it is, how well his shot is, and I think what we saw exceeded our expectations and made us now kind of rethink, well, maybe is it the system that he's in college, or is it something different? Is he a better offensive player at the NBA level than he might even be the way he was in college?
Yeah, and I think those are fair questions. It's one of those things, we won't have a real good sense of that until he gets in the training camp in the preseason. Because out here, nobody's really running much. Each team's got about 2-3 plays in the playbook, and then after that, it's a lot of read and react type of stuff. But the good thing is you can see he belongs physically, that he has a good understanding of how to play the game. Like I said, he's a willing shooter, which is good because you didn't want to, that was one of the questions was, can he shoot the ball well enough to play in the NBA? And being able to do that, the first step is just taking the shots. So that's big for him. I think he could be a contributor day one because of his defense. His offense is going to take a little while to catch up, but there are definitely signs that are encouraging here this week.
Keith Smith, Yahoo Sports covers the NBA with us here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. As we know, the NBA. I was talking with Jared Diamond yesterday from the Wall Street Journal. We were talking about baseball, and one thing was he wrote an article about how the NBA free agency basically dunked all over baseball. You know, here's the season in the 4th of July. It's kind of like the kicking off point of baseball, the All-Star break, and NBA free agency just dunked all over it. You're in Vegas right there. How big, is the NBA becoming right now? We're kind of seeing this whole change and shift of the face, the landscape. It seems like there's parity. But, Keith, are you feeling a shift in terms of popularity? Not that it wasn't already popular, but that it's even getting bigger.
Yeah, I think it absolutely is. I think you have a combination of a couple of things. There is, especially this year with all the movement, that's always fun for everybody. It feels like all 30 teams did stuff this year, whether at the draft or, through free agency. Then you have the fact that the Warriors aren't the Warriors anymore, so there's no inevitability. And then it is such a global game. There are people here I've met people from, I would say, at least probably 10, 12 different countries that are here as fans. Not even here working in the media or with a team, just here as fans that have flown in to see this. It's, as an aside, if you ever get the chance to come out here as a fan, this is, probably one of the coolest environments because you can see a whole bunch of games, bunch of basketball. The two gyms are right next to each other. You bounce back and forth. But, yeah, I think the NBA has positioned themselves where it's going to be really hard to catch the NFL here. I always use my dad as an example with the NFL. It's perfect for him because he doesn't want to spend every night following it, so he can read the paper in the morning, see what's going on with the team, and then watch one game a week and move on with his life. The NBA is a little harder than that, but it's also not the grind that baseball is, where that's day in, day out. You got to be in on it, and it really did knock baseball off the map. A bunch of us were sitting in the gym watching a game, and then we're like, oh yeah, the home run derby's going on. I guess that's been pretty fun, and none of us even knew because it's so focused and dialed in on the NBA.
Keith, we're focused and dialed in right now on the next domino to fall. And amazingly, there's still one, and it sounds like it's Russell Westbrook. We obviously, Miami is a team that we've heard. Is there another team or place that you can see Russell getting traded to at this point? And what are the odds that he just stays in Oklahoma City? Is that completely out the door now?
No, I don't think that's out the door at all. I think OKC has basically said to Russ is, we'll see what we can do. We will, if something works for us, we will do that. They're also not going to just send him somewhere where he doesn't want to be either. They're going to work with him basically as a show of good faith for everything he's done for the franchise. And, it's important to remember he was the guy who stuck around when Kevin Durant left. So that is really important to them. Now, as far as where he might go, Miami is, kind of at the top of the list because they've got the contracts to go get him. They can do different things to make that happen. But then you look at it, and there are a couple other teams. I heard the Minnesota Timberwolves mentioned as maybe a sneaky destination because they could send back a couple contracts, and they have a bunch of their own draft picks. The New York Knicks would love to be involved, but they're just not in a position right now because they can't trade half their roster because they just signed all of them. So I do think there's a good chance Russ stays with OKC heading into the season, and then this is one of those things that gets worked out as we get closer to the holidays.
There's no way the Lakers could be able to get him at this point, right?
No, absolutely not. They don't have the ability to do anything because everybody they've got that could potentially go as salary matching they just got in trade, so they're not able to do that.
Yeah, and then
but if there's maybe only in a 3-team, because they were trying to arm up to get Kawhi Leonard, and obviously Russ is from LA, so I'm wondering if maybe they try to get a third team involved, if that's at all any type of possibility. But it sounds like no. Yeah,
the problem for the Lakers is they really only have big salaries on the books, or LeBron James and Anthony Davis, which obviously they're not going to do. And then after that, all those guys just signed or re-signed there, and you're limited on how quickly you can turn around and trade them.
Right.
Yeah, and Miami's got its own issues, right? I mean, Miami seems like a team that's interested. He seems like, okay, that would be cool. Jimmy Butler has kind of, said, yeah, I wouldn't mind it. But Miami's got to have its own issues, and they've already kind of said they don't want to trade a couple of their guys that would need to be traded to get it done. So do you see Miami having the ability to pull this deal off?
Yeah, it's going to have to be Miami's going to have to get willing to move a couple of their younger guys that they so far don't seem willing to. It sounds like OKC said, we're going to do this beyond the players who would have to go to match salary. We need to have two out of three out of Bam Adebayo, Justice Winslow, and Tyler Hero, who's been kind of the summer league star here for the Heat. So those are, what we're hearing at least is, we want to have two or three of those guys, and Miami's holding off. Miami also doesn't have a lot of picks because they sent picks out already in other trades. So they can get there if they want to. I think it's going to be one of those things where they'll play the game of chicken a little bit, and they'll stare at each other for a little while, and then if ultimately that's what both sides wants to do, one side will give a little, the other side will give a little, and the deal will get done.
Do you think if Miami were to get Russ Westbrook, James Ennis said the other day, this is a walkthrough for the Sixers in the East, which I don't know if that he should have said that, but he did. And a lot of people think the East is the Sixers to win. But would Westbrook to the Heat make them a favorite?
A lot depends on what they give up. But I think, what we're seeing, what you always want to factor in with the NBA right now, where you've got kind of these top-heavy conferences with these, really good teams, is who's healthy at the end of the year, and that's going to be a challenge for Miami. Both Butler and Westbrook have had injuries over the course of their career. They haven't been guys who've been all really healthy, for the entirety of the whole season, so they would have to manage through that and make that work. Westbrook himself is coming off a knee surgery that he just had another procedure on the knee over the course of the summer, so that's going to be something to watch. But as far as favorites in the East, I think the Bucks are still going to have something to say about that. They've got the MVP. And they were right there, as far as challenging. So I think Philadelphia has every reason to be confident. I just wouldn't be making quite those large declarative statements just yet.
Yeah. Well, which is something James Ennis said the other day, which was Kawhi's out of here. We should walk through to the finals, which,
it's great when your eighth man says that too,
yeah, I'm sure.
Not bad, not Joel. Right. What's up with Kyle Korver? What's the latest on him?
Yeah, he just cleared waivers yesterday, so it sounds like the Lakers are interested, the Clippers are interested. Basically, every contender would love to have Kyle Korver because everybody's always looking for another shooter. So we'll hear, probably my guess is within the next week or so on him where he wants to go. But he's going to pick a place where there's for certain a job for him. He's not going to have to compete for a spot or anything like that. So it'll be that's how it's going to go down for Kyle Korver. But he will be in the league next year, and he's going to be on some contenders' bench as a shooter.
I would think the Sixers offer him a very good opportunity, even though financially it may not be there, but from playing time and to be able to get off the bench and supply the shooting that they've lost a little bit, that would be a good match.
Yeah, it absolutely would. And he already went through one round there and was quite well liked and had good things to say. So I wouldn't rule that out either.
Hey Keith, I know that right now it seems that the players have a big upper hand, that they're basically dictating, I don't want to play here anymore. I want to be traded. I don't want to finish my contract. Let's team up and play together. Is there I know the offseason has been great. It's been fun. Everybody, it's at the height of popularity, which we talked about. But is there an area of that that's a little scary, that at any time you're a superstar can say, I don't want to be here, even though there's time left on my contract? It seems that the players have such power over the owners right now. Is that something that maybe is a little worrisome to NBA teams?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit, and I think Adam Silver touched on that in his annual summer kind of State of the Union address, where he said, you want the players to have this ability, you want them to feel like they can do that. Obviously, it was collectively bargained for them to be able to, get there and move around and do their thing. So that is, something though that he wants to be cautious of. The so-called Supermax extension has not worked the way they hoped it would. In some cases, it might even cost teams players because they don't want to commit to those guys. So that's something we're going to see them, I think, continue to work on and try to figure this out. Now, this summer was a little unique because the cap did bump up a little bit. A lot of money came off the books for these teams. You had, one of the more loaded free agent classes we've ever had. Over 200 guys were free agents. So it really hit a point this year where this was one of those big things. But Silver talked about it as well, and exactly spot on, was when we limited contracts to generally 4 years. in length at most. Occasionally you get the 5-year deal in there, and very rarely the 6-year if it comes by the extension. This is what this lends itself to, is you're going to see guys move because just deals are shorter. It enables guys to team up. Now, I don't think they're overly worried because guys teamed up in some of the bigger markets and some of the more popular teams, so I think they're somewhat okay with that. But it's going to be something that we're going to have to watch and figure this out. You don't want going too far. And I know one of the things that really bothers them is what happened with the whole Marcus Morris situation, where the Spurs made moves to be able to sign him, and now it looks like he may back out of that agreement and sign elsewhere. And that's putting the Spurs in a really tough spot.
What's the latest on the Carmelo Anthony front? Is he going to play in the NBA this year?
He would like to. He's made it clear to teams he's not done. He wants to play again. He's just, I think going to kind of look for his spot. A lot of people assumed he would be in Los Angeles with LeBron and team up with those guys. They do still have a couple roster spots open, so that is a possibility. But it's, he wants to play, and challenges, I think the game might have moved past Carmelo at this point versus Carmelo being done with the game. Sometimes that happens to guys. The game's done with them first.
Yeah, people forget Carmelo was in the same draft as LeBron, but LeBron's 35 years old, and he came out of high school. Now, Melo only played 1 year, but he's either 36, 37 years old. Same with Dwayne Wade. Those guys were all in the same draft class, and LeBron's the only one left, which kind of shows you how unbelievable LeBron is, because he's still playing at the same, a very near level to where he was. Dwayne Wade was pretty good still, but he wasn't Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo hasn't been Carmelo Anthony for about 4 or 5 years now. So it really does show where LeBron is. But I guess the question for you is, Keith, is LeBron at the level that he needs to be to make the Lakers? Because I'm not sure. That Lakers team, you got LeBron and Anthony Davis, which are great, but you got a lot of question mark and older veterans around there that thing's either boom or bust, it seems like.
Yeah, they went from being one of the youngest teams in the league to one of the oldest in the span of one summer. And it is, when you have LeBron, that is where he prefers to be. He wants veterans there. He wants guys who've been through the battles and guys who know, what it takes to win in the playoffs. Now, he was really good last year. He didn't exactly bring it all his effort on the defensive end, but offensively he was just as good as he's always been. His passing and rebounding was right where they've been. So, I think he is going to be really good. I think it's almost a little scary for some people to look at it and say, man, this guy's been basically off since April. He might come in and really hit the league. I think he's more accepting now than he's ever been. It's time to go down the load management route for him, where he probably shouldn't be playing more than 65 games or so a year. And I think Anthony Davis's presence there is going to allow them to do that. So I do think we've got another probably big year left, and I don't think that roster is finished yet. They designed a lot of those contracts to be pretty tradable, and somebody pops free in the course of the regular season before the trade deadline, the Lakers will be all over it.
Keith Smith, Yahoo Sports NBA. At Keith Smith NBA. If Twitter was working, you could follow him. But it's amazing. How are people living their lives right now? Twitter is down. Is your Twitter working?
I'm a dead soul right now, just looking right at you.
I mean, you're just staring at Twitter, waiting for it to come back, and it just won't do it. Real quick, before we let you roll here, Keith, obviously what the Clippers did, they've got Kawhi, they got Paul George out there, and you got the Lakers with what they did. The balance of power clearly seems to be out west. But the question is, are these teams that went out and built new rosters the favorites, or are these teams that kept it together and going with continuity? The Denvers and the Portlands against the two L.A. teams that really tried to, mix and match, where those two teams really said, we're going to come back. And Houston, throw Houston in there so far because they haven't done anything either. Who do you like better, the teams that kept it together or the teams that are newly formed?
Yeah, it's hard not to like the Clippers. I think they're going to be pretty good. I think, they may get off to a little bit of a slow start because of the, vast amount of changeover on the roster. Paul George is probably going to miss the first part of the season due to the off-season shoulder surgeries he had. He ended up having surgery on both of his shoulders. So that'll be interesting to see where that comes in. But, yeah, I think the teams like Denver and Portland, they're banking on. We're already really good. We brought back most of our guys. We feel like we found, pieces that fit here. They both made some minor changes, but, both both made good moves to get better. So that's going to be interesting. The one thing that has been coming up over and over again here is it has been for, it feels like 20 plus years now. The Western Conference just continues to be so strong. And the challenge is that's going to push a couple teams out. It's going to push them down into the lottery. Those teams that are going to get good players in the lottery. And it's just a cycle. And there is probably more push than ever to, we got to do something about the conferences, divisions, and the way we feed the playoff teams, because these Western Conference teams are starting to get very frustrated that, year after year, we're good enough to be in the playoffs, but because we're in the West, we're not making it. Now, half the league doesn't really care about their feelings on that, so that's going to be something that, Adam Silver's going to have to address eventually. But I think we're finally hitting a tipping point with that, because this just doesn't seem to be changing.
The players keep choosing to go out there. That's their own fault,
that's what
right?
I say. It's their decision.
Yeah. It's the players are, they're making their decisions. It's the teams that I think are getting, increasingly frustrated with.
Gotcha.
We're loading up here and we're trying to be a good team, but we're going to be the 9th, 10th best team in the West, and we'd be 4th or 5th best at worst in the East.
Just another reason to bet to pile on Kevin Durant. You went East because it was easier.
We'll hear that eventually when he gets back on the court.
Yeah. Keith Smith at Keith Smith NBA. He's in Summer League. Flight's at 5:30. Get home safe, man. Appreciate the time as always, pal.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, Keith Smith, like all guests, appear to be the Boardwalk Honda hotline.